Do you see that?
Uh-huh. Do you think we should tell the boss something?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. This can't be good.
Oh, bugger.
Hello. Today we'll be talking about Stronghold from Stronghold Games and of course Portal Games, and Ignacy Chavicek as the designer of this game. This is the second edition though. Do you know what I like in games? Variable player powers. And do you know what I like even more? Total asynchronous player styles. In this game we have a fortress and someone is trying to invade the fortress. So you either play the defending side or the attacking side with fearsome orcs and horrific trolls and devious goblins. Well, they don't look very scary, but they do their use. Because these monsters are pulled from a bag and they have to be cubes, because if they had different shapes you would be able to feel it, and you're not supposed to do that. But on the other hand, the defender, he has archers and pikemen and veterans and heroes of course, and they look kind of neat. Well, not the heroes. Welcome to the invader's side. It is kind of natural to begin here, because if you have a castle and no one's invading it, we are a castle game, castle building game or economic game. So I'm invading this one, and we have a war game all of a sudden. And this is a game for two players, an invading side and a defending side. So it's kind of logical to start here as well, because for all my action there is a reaction depending on what my action is. So let's see, we have the briefing. It's one action I can do. It physically give him time to do his actions. So what I do is take one of these hourglass tokens and give it to him. Now he can use it on his, well, after I'm done with my stuff. So I can use my time to gather resources, to build catapults and other siege weapons, to build bridges and ladders and whatnot, and to move stuff around. But the more stuff I do, the longer it will take, and that time it takes is given to my opponent, and he can use all that time to do his stuff. So we'll get back to that after a while. My job is to breach one of these wall areas here, or wall sections. If I do that, I win the game. But if I don't do it within 7 rounds, he will win the game, because he will get some backup from other friends of his or something. And I don't want that. I want to breach one of the wall. And it sounds very simple, doesn't it? Well, I wish it was. So really, basically, what I want to do is to get these troops, move them to these ramparts here, and then across these paths, and then further on to the wall, and we compare values afterwards. If my values here are greater than his, he has to make sacrifices, and if he cannot make sacrifices, he doesn't have enough, I win the game. That's it. Very, very basically, and of course there's a lot more to it, but that's how I win the game. But unfortunately, he has so much things to do, and so much things can happen to me on the way there. But I'm not totally helpless though, because I can build siege weapons, like this catapult here. And I will seed some hit and miss cards here, shuffle those, and we'll see if I hit. If I hit, well, we take a wall piece down. And woohoo for me! And just shuffle this back in and see if we hit next time. Other things I can do is to build a ballista like this one, to kill the guards on the top. And I can build a trebuchet to really knock things down. I also have this mantlet here. So this, you see, will protect from arrows. So all my troops in here will be protected from the guards' arrows here on the wall. And yeah, that is kind of useful. So these skeletons here on the board, they're not for my benefit. No, they're for his. You see, he can put these trap tokens here. And I don't know what it is. So I try to move this over here. And we see, oh no, I lost all my cute little goblinses. So they died. And from the rest of the game now, I know that goblins can't pass through here. And he has kind of protected himself from my weak goblins. Well, they are weak. So he has a lot of things to his disposal as well. But I do as well. I can build ladders to get more people on the wall. I can build underground tunnels to avoid stuff and sneaking past his defenses. And I can build banners that will give strength and morale boost to my units. I can build poison. I can there's a lot of things I can build in addition to the siege weapons. Well, okay, let's go to the defender's side. I have to defend the castle here until my uncle or brother or friend king shows up with his forces and saves the day. Hooray! So these are all my actions. They are always the same, but every action here takes time to do, and I can only do so much depending on how much time he gives me, he allows me to. Well, it's kind of thematic as well, because if he doesn't spend a lot of time on something, I don't get more time for any reason. So if he sends out his cheap forces to collect wood, well, they will use a bit more longer time than the stronger forces. But he doesn't want to sacrifice his strong forces on gathering wood, so he wants to have them fighting. But anyway, this game is all about setting up the defense, trying to know or read what my opponent is trying to do, because my opponent is on both sides of the castle and is on both fronts and both sides and both backs, and it's very, very hard for me to know what he's planning, because he has forces here, forces there, and he only gives me so much time. Should I build a cannon tower here? Should I build a pike tower here? Should I hire more troops? Should I get a sniper to snipe one of them? Should I send some spies and sabotage his stuff? Everything I do it for you. It's all because it's his blessing to give me time to do it, and I don't know what your plan is. What is your plan? Hey, just a small break in the video. First of all, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you do, please check out my Patreon account at patreon.com/takas and see how you can support me that way. That would be really appreciative. Also, if you have comments of what I should do and shouldn't do, please do that. And thumbs up is definitely good, but if you do thumbs up, please tell me why. And I'll try to improve. Okay, now onto the video. As I said, the invading force, he uses his actions, and whenever he does an action, he gives me these arrow glasses here, and I get X amount of glasses depending on what action he does and how he does it. So right now I have 4 actions, and I have to use them immediately. I can't save them for later. I have to use them after he has done his action, because this kind of happens simultaneously. He does his stuff, and I do my reaction at once. So I can build up, for instance, I can build up 2 traps here if I want. And if I want to build a trap, I just add 1 more hourglass here. And I build a trap somewhere. Or I can build some sharpshooters, or I can train some troops, or build a cannon tower, stuff like that. I can save actions up until later. Each round is basically a build-up to a battle or a combat. So we have all these actions for the invader that he does, and afterwards we do the battle stuff, like the catapults, ballistas, and cannon towers and such. And then we move on to the archers or the pikes and the closer stuff. And if there are any units at the walls, enemy units, we check for combat. Do they invade? Yes or no? And after that, if no, we continue until round 7 is done. Or the invading forces has succeeded, of course. So this game has a lot of tension. Much tension. Because as the defender, I have no idea what he's planning. I don't know if he's going to hit with the catapults. I don't know if he's moving troops here or here. I don't know if he's calling my bluffs. And yeah, I'll talk about bluffs later. I don't know how it's going to end up in the end. And it's really exciting for me as a defending player, because I feel like I'm being attacked from all sides, which I am, and I feel I don't have control. But it's very, very hard. The same thing goes for the invading forces. He has the upper hand, of course, because he can decide what I do. But whenever he does something, he gives me time. So he doesn't want to do too much, but he doesn't want to do too little either. And he doesn't know if I'm able to switch things around, or if I'm going to sneak an action here that he wasn't aware of or didn't think of, or use a hero ability, or even use my special ability, which I only have a few of. And he feels he can't do it. He can't go in here because he knows what he has. He can't go here. But for me, it's still, if he goes here, I'm going to be crushed. And if he goes here, I'm going to be crushed. And so tension is on both sides, and I love it. This game is so rich on theme. And theme. Do you like orcs and goblins? No? Well, no matter, because they're only cubes. You can pretend they're humans against humans and have a historical battle here. If you like the theme, it's okay. You can pretend they're orcs and goblins, which they are, and it's still a fun game. So the theme of goblins and the fantasy creature doesn't really come into it, but the theme of invading a castle really shines here. Well, that's what I get for recording two languages at the same time. I forgot about the conclusion on English. The conclusion to Stronghold, 2nd edition. So this game, it is, as I said, totally thematic when it comes to engaging in a stronghold attack. Well, I haven't done it personally, of course, but you really get into the theme here. It's really tight both ways, and it's very hard to see what the outcome will be for each combat. So it's very interesting. I like this game a lot, actually. The one thing, though, I learned this game by the first rules that came out in Essen last year. And those rules were, I would say, lackluster. Yeah, they were totally off. They were missing sentences here and there, and some information was not there at all. So, yeah, I might have learned this wrong and said something wrong in the rules during the video. So just keep that in mind. I didn't learn this game by the original rules. I got this at later hand, and maybe I didn't get all the new rules. But the rules themselves doesn't really tell you how to play the game. It does take a while to get into the game, but once you do, it's very, very good. Definitely. So, Stronghold 2nd edition, just make sure that you got the rules. It says on the lower left corner, version 1.2 or something. If you have that should be okay. I don't think they sold the early versions in the store anyway, only at Essen. So, I think you're good. Yeah, but this game provides a lot of fun. It does. It takes a while to play, 2 hours, most likely. And you feel engaged at all times. Just waiting there and feeling the pressure. Oh, can't this be over soon? It's like that, and you don't want it to be over. Well, you want it to. You want you to win, and I just want to get struggled over. So I do enjoy this game a whole lot, and the theme, the theme of orcs and stuff doesn't really matter. It's a Stronghold game, and that's the name of the game. So I have not played the first edition of the game. I have not, so I can't tell you the differences or anything. But I like this one a lot, and I can't really imagine how it will be with 3 or 4 players as the first edition had. But anyway, Stronghold 2nd edition from Stronghold Games and Portal Games. It's a thumbs up for me, and great 2-player game. Okay, thanks for watching.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.